E whakapono me te rangi mari e tātou tātou e te aroha te whakapono.
Under a bit of legislation called the Protected Objects Act, as the Crown, Manu Taiko is responsible for the care and custody of found taonga, taonga tūturu, until such time as their ownership is determined in the Māori Land Court.
Mena kua puta mai te taonga, mai tētahi wāhi o Aotearoa. Sometimes the taonga are found, well, in our Act they have to be found taonga tūturu, and they can be found in excavation sites or in earthworks, erosion. And under our law, marunga I te ture, me tukua ēnei taonga ki tētahi wāhi I whakahaere ēnei kaupapa. So when taonga tūturu are found, a authorised entity, whether there is a registered collector, a museum or a gallery, they can take the taonga there, but it must be recorded by us in our taonga tūturu database that it was found. And from there, the process is within a catch of tērā pē he marama to notify potential claimants of that taonga, and we also notify within that marama through the newspaper and other mechanisms. And once potential claims have been made, the Ministry sends those claims to the Māori Land Court, and the Māori Land Court is the decider of who claims ownership.
Kei roto I ēnei taonga ētahi Māori, ētahi kōrero tuku iho, inā ka purua tētahi taonga mai I a ngāpuhi ki te taha o tētahi mea, o tētahi taonga tūturu no Te Arawa Meki, tērā pia ka puta mai tētahi āhuatanga kāri te tino pai, ki te tangata, ki te wāhi rānei e noho aua taonga. Nō reira, he mea nui te rangahau I ērā momo āhuatanga I runga anō I tērā whakaro, kia tiaki te tangata, kia tiaki ngā taonga, kia tiaki noki I te wāhi e noho nei ngā taonga.
He aha te taonga, he nui rawa te mātauranga he aha te taonga. Ki roto o toa tātou ture, te ture tiaki taonga, ko te taonga tūturu, ko tētahi wāhanga o he aha te mātauranga o te taonga. Kia tātou I roto I tērā ture, he taonga tūturu, tētahi taonga e mahi a tētahi tāngata Māori, tērā pē he momo taonga I hangaia, tētahi tāngata Māori, he taonga Māori anō tētahi mena I mauria tērā taonga I te mātauranga Māori, I te whakaaro Māori, I ngā āhua katoa o tō tātou ao Māori. He tērā pē he momo taonga I tai mai no tā wāhi mai tētahi tāngata Māori. Koera te momo whakaaro he aha te taonga tūturu. Ko te mea nui me 50 tau e piki aki tērā taonga, ko tērā te taonga tūturu.
Ko te whakamahi I ngā āhuatanga I ngā whakaaro Māori, I roto I tēnei momo kaupapa, he kaupapa nui, he kaupapa nui whakaharahara, he kaupapa e hāngai ana kia tātou taonga tūturu. Nō reira, e tika ana kia whakamahi ēnei whakaaro Māori, ēnei āhuatanga mātauranga Māori, ki roto I ēnei kaupapa. Nō reira, ko aua mea ko ngā aua whakaaro Māori, ko te mana, ko te tapu, ko te wairua. I runga anō I te whakaaro, tērā pia kāre anō kua mahia.
We've used the services of Auckland University for a long time now. We've been in discussions with the museum, and they have a new purpose-built facility that we can move the taonga to, and that's our stage one.
Whakapapa is kind of like a living thing, so there are living descendants today who have connection to those taonga, so that's kind of like a responsibility for whoever's looking after them to look after that, the wairua and the mauri and the tapu and the mana of the taonga, because there are living people today who have connected. It's like looking after your kaumata kuia, and if you look after the taonga will look after you. So that's why I think it's important.
These are precious, precious objects, and they can't just be sitting in a corner somewhere. They need to be well looked after. So we have custody until such time as iwi are ready, and the Auckland University has been providing that service. Auckland Museum will take on that service, and ultimately our hope is that we will work with iwi and hapu to build their capability.
We want to provide more for iwi. We want to consider what they feel is important and allow them to have more autonomy when it comes to the care and preservation of their taonga tūturu. And I'm very pleased to be part of that sort of a project. From the outset, I think we envisioned that it would be quite simple. And when you think about it, moving taonga tūturu from one space to another sounds simple, but it's quite complicated. We're learning how to do new things. We're learning how to work differently.
One part of this project is really to understand the needs of it, the conservation needs, so the environment that is needed for the optimum care as close as we can for these taonga. The other part is to negotiate the space with haukainga and also to liaise with those iwi who the taonga belong to.
In the future, I think, and as part of this project, I've ensured that we collect as much information as possible on how we've done things. So the end part of this project is documenting those processes, and together with it will be things you have to think about. How will the taonga be stored? How is it being boxed? Is it appropriate, and does it come up to the levels that we would expect any museum in New Zealand to have? Is the transport okay? Consider how you're going to transport it and what sort of vehicles you're using. It's very important that your trip between facilities is short. All of those things need to be thought about, even the smallest things. Tagging, making sure you have correct records, checking the records again, making sure that you have a digital database as well, so you can audit things. The other thing is to consider the legislation. Make sure that you're working within that legislation, that you have legal background, that you have proper contracts. And then we have the health and safety. We let experts lead that, and it made us stop and really think about what we were doing and making sure that we're safe, the taonga's safe, and everybody that is involved or we could possibly come into contact with is going to be safe.
That is the goal, is to equip Māori, whether that's through training, whether through having their own marae satellite labs, to do this mihi and to care for the taonga from the minute that they are discovered.